Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and anyone who could swallow 2 snowballs and a ding-dong shouldn't have any trouble with pride. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
I love you to death. I love you to death.
We are dorking out about 1980s. Can't stop the music. It is actually, this has been requested for a couple years now because our Aussie fans, our Aussie listeners, apparently this is a movie that plays on Channel 9 there every New Year's Eve.
I don't know if it's New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
So it's I'm like, is it
annual?
No, you go. Sorry.
It's annual. I mean, it's like I'm trying to think of like what we play. Like I used to think. I can't even think like what movies used to play like at certain seasons of the year.
Yeah.
But for New Year's, they like this. You know, like we play Die Hard at Christmas. And
the only one I could think of that's close is like A Christmas Story on TBS, where they, every year on TBS here in the States, they repeat Christmas Story for 24 hours. Now, I don't think they play Can't Stop the Music for 24 hours, but
there might be a riot if that happened.
It would drive people insane. This movie, believe it or not, actually has a script. It's written by Alan Carr and Bronte Woodard. It's directed by Nancy Walker, who apparently is an actress, and she was on what show? I forget.
Rhoda. Rhoda's mother. She also was the paper towel lady.
Right.
Remember she had the paper towel commercials.
I actually wrote down something about her. Let me find it, because it is the, at the time, maybe this has changed, but at the time, she was the first woman to direct a multi-million-dollar musical. At the time, she signed a 3-picture contract. I'm
going to guess it dropped as soon as this movie.
It was rescinded when this movie tanked because this movie tanked. Okay. All right. Also, it stars. Can you pronounce her name for me? Valerie
Perrine.
Valerie Perrine, which is the reason we're doing this episode.
Right.
Why don't you tell everybody about Valerie?
Valerie Perrine is an actress. She was in Lenny. She played Lenny Bruce's wife. That's with Dustin Hoffman. She was in Slaughterhouse-5. She's in Made to Order, which is one of my favorite 80s comedies with Ali Sheedy. She was in the first Superman movie. By that, I mean 1978.
Yes.
She plays Gene Hackman's girlfriend. I watched that last night.
Did you love it?
Loved it. It really holds up.
I knew it.
It really, really holds up. And she's in this movie. She's done a ton of television. She played, she was on Homicide: Life on the Street.
Yeah, she played Detective Munch's wife.
Right.
Ex-wife.
Which is a hilarious ex-wife.
Yeah.
He has like several of them. And she's just beautiful and funny. And she's 79 now. She'll be 79. She's going to be 80 this coming year. She has Parkinson's disease, and she's had it for a few years. And I found out because she posted on Twitter, she was selling a lot of her Superman paraphernalia, the stuff that she collected over the years, to help cover her bills for this is the shame of America.
Yeah.
Like what happens to people when they get sick if you're not rich, or
It's
so
awful.
it's not great. And but anyway, to focus on the positive, they've raised half the money for her. I would like to really try to raise more money for her. And so I was saying to you that because this movie airs in Australia, this huge, place, maybe like some of our fans there, and I'm going to do it here on my side. I'm just retweeting the GoFundMe, follow me and retweet it if you can too.
Will do.
I would love for us to be able to help her out. It's not just for the medical care, it's also dental, which I don't know why they separate that. I mean, her mouths are at, and her eyes are on her heads. But
that's something I don't understand.
That's another
either.
argument. Yeah. But also for home care, like she needs people, obviously, to pay the bills, but also somebody to come over and help her with her medicine, help her in and out of bed, things like that. It's a hard way.
Yeah.
It's a hard disease to deal with. You and I have both dealt with disease.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with being disabled for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it really hurts your motivation in life. It's very humbling, and sometimes you just need people just to be a little kind and just to
Yes.
give you some grace. And this is our chance. Like, if you liked Superman, maybe throw a few bucks at the
Yeah.
GoFundMe.
Yeah. We're going to help a sister out.
Yeah, help a sister out. So once again, it's GoFundMe. Just Valerie Perrine. She's super, or her assistant. Somebody like is really super reactive on Twitter, and they write back, and she's very grateful.
Yeah,
for it.
we'll put a link in the show notes too. So if you just want to go straight to it from the show notes, you can like swipe up or down or left or right. I don't know. Maybe that means we match and we're dating. I don't remember, but do it. Like let's help her. Like
Let's help her out.
Yeah, and if money's tight, like we understand that, especially during the holidays, like you could just share it.
Just share it. Or, obviously, and you know what? Tag like your local radio station or newspaper. If, like I said, once again, if they play this movie every year, they're going to be talking about it next week on the way to playing it. So maybe just remind them, like, hey, make sure to mention this, or, just tag a DJ that you think might do it, or an influencer.
A great idea. You are so smart.
I try to be.
You succeed.
Thank you.
So she's adorable in this movie. Right. Everybody drink. Adorable.
I mean, beautiful.
Yes.
Like a goddess, like a 70s goddess. Like
yes.
No one comes close. They look like a booger compared to her. She is just glorious.
But so I've never seen this movie. I mix this movie up in my head with Thank God It's Friday.
Very easy.
So, which I'm pretty sure I've seen that one, but I had not seen this one because the minute it started, it opens with, so it also stars Steve Guttenberg. The Goot. I didn't know this movie starred the Goot. That was a surprise. So the opens, he's wearing like the tightest white pants and he's like roller skating. And I was like, this is fucking peak 80s. Like,
it's very camp.
Yes.
And it's very like gay culture is so ingrained in the popular culture, and the dumb straight dudes had no idea.
Here's
they're wearing half shirts and the shorts you could see their nuts through, and like Nancy Walker was like 5 feet high. It's like the camera aimed right at their dicks.
It's so the Village people are very, very gay, and like the pretending in this movie, or it's not, I wouldn't even say pretending, it's just the non-acknowledgement of it is almost what makes the movie even funnier. Like, it's funny because it's such a time capsule. Like, that's what I think works. There's a couple of jokes too where I was like, oh shit, that was actually really funny. Like the thing about the snowballs and ding dongs, or one of the women says, oh, I love San Francisco. My favorite ex-husband lives there. Or it's like, just shit like that makes me laugh. And it's a very strange movie. It's like loosely based on the like origin story of the Village people. And
Casablanca Records.
Yes, it's very strange. And then we have Caitlyn Jenner in there. I'm trying to like before. Like,
right,
I want to be sensitive. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm trying really hard. Like, this is back. So Caitlyn Jenner back when she was Bruce Jenner. Is that a good way to say that? I'm like, I hope so. I forget, like, Caitlyn Jenner was very handsome back in the day.
I told you. Attractive. Like sexy even. Like,
like not my type. Not like I'd be like, ooh, I'm gonna put a poster up on my wall like back in the day. But like, definitely handsome. Like, I get it.
And very amiable.
Yes.
I think that was her ticket. Like, she always seemed down to earth.
Yes.
Even though she's a star, she had star quality, but I mean, she did so much television, and you don't realize now, like, how much charisma she had, because a lot of sports people try to get a career, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Like a John Madden to be really good at it, or I'm trying to think of any John McEnroe.
Yeah, John McEnroe's had like the career resurgence recently.
Yeah.
Who was the a couple of people like even like LeBron James has shown up in movies and you're like, they definitely have charisma. Are they good actors? You know,
right.
Oh shit. Shaq's another one. Or Kareem
Shaq
Abdul-Jabbar. Like
right. An Airplane.
An
Very
Airplane,
funny.
which I guess originally was supposed to be Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, that's what we find out
And
in the notes.
She turned it down to do this one.
Well, it's a bigger part.
It is a bigger part, for sure.
And it's funnier that it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Because especially when he grabs the kid by the... Well, we're not going to talk about Airplane. We'll talk about Airplane some other time.
Yeah, I fucking love Airplane.
But to give, like... Good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, like, just to give it context, because you and I are probably... You know, we're Gen X. We're not millennials. So for those that only know Caitlyn from the Kardashians... It's hard to emphasize how famous she was.
Yes.
And for being very physically fit.
Yes.
But also just being, like I said, amiable. Like, she never said anything controversial.
Correct. Gone are those days.
You know, she would co-host with Howard Cosell all the time.
Yeah, right, Max.
You remember, he loves Howard Cosell. So but she was very famous, and I think, you know, she was ready to transition from, okay, I've done the sports thing, and she was a hell of an athlete. Like, she was a decathlon gold medalist, which is nothing to sneeze at. But she went from that, and then she wanted to get into acting. And why not? And she was given this big part, and I think she's good. I mean, it's not a great script. It's not very believable. But she tries. I think, like, she's really trying to be believable.
There's she's not giving a bad performance. The character's not my favorite.
No.
Like, I think he's boring, and I think in real life, like, I'm like, I want better for Valerie's character, Samantha. She goes by Sam. I want better for her. I think she deserves better than Caitlyn Jenner's character, Ron. But that's me.
Yeah, they become love interests. They become a couple. Yeah. And I'm like, why? But I mean, he's got a good. I mean, I'm sorry, the character has a good body, but and handsome. But other than that, he's a total stiff. She lives with Steve Guttenberg.
Yes,
but they're just friends.
The Goot.
His smugness sometimes, like, I don't see it that often, but I remember somebody telling me they thought he was the smuggest actor, and I'm like, in this movie, wow, like, he has this look on his face sometimes, like, yep, it's me.
My favorite thing in this movie is Steve Guttenberg trying to dance. Like, it's a vibe. Like, let me say, like, him trying to dance and constantly in, like, tight white pants.
They're all tight pants. And if
put your tight pants on.
I mean, you could tell who's Jewish and who isn't. It's pretty. Wow. And she wears really tight clothes too. Yeah. She's got a bod on her. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a very body conscious kind of wardrobe. Yes. I can imagine there's not a lot of carbs consumed because the Village people themselves, the men, they have the men in the band, they're all in outfits. I was like, Felipe as the Native American, which you wouldn't do now. There's certain things you would. But this is what it was.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing. I'll mention who they are. So it's like Alex Brealey as the GI. David Hodo as the construction worker.
My favorite.
I was going to ask you who your favorite is. Here's my favorite. Glenn Hughes as the Leatherman.
Leatherman is fucking funny as hell. When he sings Danny Boy, I got a little tear in my eye. I'm not going to lie.
Just the, like, Leatherman don't get nervous. Leatherman don't get nervous. It's so funny. Like, the idea that he works at, like, the toll booth, and he's like, he just happens upon the audition because he's there to, like, get a tax extension or something. Like, I just love the Leatherman. He was my favorite. And then Randy Jones as the cowboy. He's very cute. The cowboy's
awesomely cute.
Very cute. And then Felipe Rose as the Native American, I'm going to say. And then that's not how he's listed in the credits, let me just say. And then Ray Simpson as the policeman, who's really like the main singer. And then I do want to mention Marilyn Sokol who plays Lulu, like the
The
assistant.
middle-aged lady.
Yeah, that's like so
desperate for D.
she wants dick so bad, and like
Oh
the
my
the
God.
things that she says in this movie, so funny. Like she's someone I recognize. Like she's been in a lot of movies in the 70s
Oh, yeah.
and 80s, and like she was in a movie that I super love called Foul Play with Goldie
Yep.
Hawn and Chevy Chase. She was in that. But she has this line where she says, "Housework is like bad sex. Every time I do it, I swear I'll never do it again until the next time company comes." Like, she's so horny. Like she's so horny.
Yeah. I mean, it's the very, the cliche of the middle-aged woman that's
Yeah.
like a divorcee, or she's never been married, but she wants some D. Like, everybody thinks she wants to get married, and it's like, she's
No.
Samantha Jones. She
Yes.
wants- yes.
She just wants
Yeah.
to get laid. I get
Yeah.
it.
And I'm okay with that. I'm like, hang around Valerie Perrine, because Samantha sees, we'll get to that. There's
Yeah.
some dicks in this. There are dicks in the movie.
Yes.
PG movie.
Yes.
Disco movie.
We looked it up right before we started recording because I was like, there's full frontal in this movie. We see her boobs, we see some dicks, and I was like, first of all, that I feel like it happens more often now, but it used to never happen. Like you would never see a movie with dick unless it starred Harvey Keitel.
It was part of the review.
Yes.
Like someone would say Bruce Willis' penis makes an appearance, or Ben
Yes.
Affleck's dick is in the shower. Like it's that much of a rare thing.
Yes.
I guess I mean, I don't think we see the Village People's dicks, but
I don't
we'll
think
get
so.
to that. I think it's in the San Francisco section. Kel Surprise that we
Yeah.
get a lot of dick.
There's a whole section where they obviously they have to sing YMCA. So they're singing YMCA and they're like running through the YMCA. And Valerie, by the way, Sam, her character Sam, is wearing the shirt that says like macho lady. And I was like, adorable. Adorable.
And the braid and the like pom
Yeah.
little like ponytail. And then she's I love it. She's getting a massage. They're on bikes behind her. She's laying on the massage table. She's got the smile plastered on her face, and she's just bopping her head to the music.
Yes.
Like dreamily, just ha ha.
But they're all running through the YMCA and it's just fucking dicks. Just dicks everywhere.
And
Just
they're running everywhere. And all I could tell you is I was saying, Sonia, I'm like, you can smell like the sweat and cocaine that must have been filling that set.
and they're all in like
Wow.
little short shorts, including
Oh.
Caitlyn Jenner, and like they're like working out and just fucking dicks everywhere. It's hilarious and it's PG.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
blows my mind.
It's great. I mean, I could picture Caitlyn, because she's not the sharpest tool in the shed. If you've heard interviews
Yeah.
with her,
Yeah.
I could picture her being on set, just being like, "Oh, there's a bunch of fellas here in good shape."
Yeah.
People
Well-
don't know what happens.
So you see dicks and you see her boobs, but it's
Mhm.
not even in a sexual way. It's not in like
No, it's joyful.
yeah,
they're
they're in the shower or whatever. Like
showering up. That's all.
yeah, I was like, the truth is I could watch this movie with my kid. Like
He probably wouldn't even notice it.
he would probably be like, there's their, he would say, there's their wieners. Like that's what he would say. And then it would be, we would move on to the next thing. Like, I don't even know if he would think anything of it, or maybe he would. I don't know.
It's funny.
I bought it. I could show it to
Yeah.
him.
You bought the movie?
Yes, I did.
I told you, once you see it, you're going to want to see it again, because I'm going to say this because we're going to make fun of it like crazy, because it makes no goddamn sense,
No.
but it's so fun. Like
It's
if
super
you
fun.
need a brain break, like put this on. It's 1980 New York City that doesn't exist anymore, and there's so many great locations.
Yes.
Gutenberg is roller skating in tight white pants through New York City
Yeah.
and singing and like trying to dance and skate at the same time. He's
Listen-
pumping his arms.
Listen to the sound of the city. Like,
And he is, man. And he wants to be a songwriter, and he lives with Sam, and Sam is a supermodel who just quit.
and I love the story that she quit and she's like, I'm going to eat what I want and do what I want. It's
Right.
I actually feel like that's not something we see in movies very often. It's usually someone who wants to model. And
Right.
she's like, no, I don't like it. I just want to eat. And like, that's her thing. Like through the whole movie is she's like
snacking.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah, she done it. She used, and so now that she gained enough connections, she wants to help him. And the songs, and it's all the Jacques Morani.
Yes.
Who's that? Yeah, he's the songwriter. He's not with us anymore. I think he passed away to AIDS back in the 80s. But he wrote all the Village People song. I don't know if he had a deal with Casablanca Records or not. Casablanca Records, there's a whole documentary about it. Neil Bogart, who ran it. And it was like the place that had Kiss and Donna Summer.
Oh.
The place that had all these. And then it was a total racket on, pay for play and Coke being traded and all this crazy stuff that happened. And they were very, very successful. And then disco. And it's sad because with this movie, it's like right after there was a whole thing that happened in Chicago where and we'll do a What a Creep episode one day about it, where disco records were blown up on the field of a baseball game.
Oh my God. I know. Yes. I have feelings about this.
I think it's White Sox, or I don't know if it's the White Sox or Cubs. I can't remember. But it was a radio station that said, bring your disco records. And because God forbid a type of music exists that is not centered around white men.
Yeah.
That's just such a shock to the system and the ego. It's just this gross homophobia and sexism and misogyny and racism that happened. And everybody would just pretended like, oh, well, disco's phony music. Ted Nugent is real music. Like,
gross.
It's so gross.
Yeah. So
there was this thing where you went to the tickets, you saw the game, and then at the end of the game they blew up the records, and people lost their goddamn minds and rioted, and it was like the death of disco, and that became a whole thing.
Gross.
And then this movie comes out, and a lot of disco, the name disco just got a really bad taste, and it took like 20 years really for people to kind of go back and now people admit like, oh, I like the Bee Gees. I like this stuff. Like, it sold a lot. It was popular for a reason. It made people feel good.
Yeah. I think it had
dancing's fun.
It was definitely cool to not like disco in the 80s.
Right.
And then I'm going to say early 90s, disco became cool again because I definitely in college, would go places and request disco songs, and we would all dance, and 70s stuff was cool again. And
it was Gen Xers.
Yes, I remember finding a book at the bookstore that was learn how to hustle, the dance, the hustle. And I was like, well, I have to have this book. So
I
don't. And I'm so angry. I think I gave it to my friend Tamara, and I think Tamara has it. But I remember all of us reading the book and trying to do the hustle, and it
was everywhere. Ethel Merman had a disco record. It got to be ridiculous, and everything, rap music, all of a sudden a bunch of white people were doing rap songs. So then that seemed silly. So then there's always something, backlash to something when it becomes super popular. Yeah. But the threat that it was to white men was particular. And I remember being young, what are y'all so fragile about? Just don't listen to disco if you don't like it. That's a whole station.
I just don't remember. I don't remember getting on the I Hate Disco bandwagon because I loved the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and I always loved it. And I loved Grease, and I loved the Bee Gees and Donna Summer and all of that. So I don't recall ever being on the bandwagon. Maybe a friend is going to text me and tell me different, but I don't remember that. But there was definitely a racism and homophobia to the hatred. And this movie, unfortunately, came out right after the disco backlash. So this movie definitely has a disco's gonna live forever kind of vibe. And it's coming at the tail end, of that phenomenon. And that Xanadu was the same.
Yeah, same with Xanadu. I mean, on top of that, it's not a very good movie.
No,
the script is terrible.
No, it's not good. Is it fun?
And the songs, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun. And like I said, I'm going to watch this again. But honestly, I don't think the songs are very good. They had to put in YMCA because I think there would have been a riot.
Right.
because I needed one song I knew. And like I said, this is only the second time I think I've ever seen this movie. But so they're culturally speaking, that's where they were coming out of that. And they were fighting that prejudice. And so then, disco stations changed their names and all this stuff.
Yes.
So this movie is a huge bomb. But like a lot of things, like Sgt. Pepper's. Remember, like the Bee Gees did the Sgt. Pepper's movie.
Yes.
And, like there's like people that got really famous, almost like they were too famous for their own good, and then had to be knocked down a few pegs.
Yes.
Because the culture loves to do that to famous people.
Yes, they do.
And they still do. It still happens. And then people are like, oh, why were they so mean then? And it's like, it's a circle.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Steve Guttenberg plays the songwriter, and Valerie Perrine is going to get the contracts. And there's a lot of sexism. First, she's like, oh, all the sexism that happens. And then she meets Paul Sand at his record studio. Yes. And she's in that black dress. So beautiful.
So beautiful.
And charms him. And he's playing like the Neil Bogart character. And then they get the group together. And there's a lot of great parts for middle-aged women in this movie. Like all the mom characters are funny.
That's true. Good call.
And fun. They're not being old biddies. They're all like open and sort of into it.
That's true. None of them. Yeah, none of them are the clutching pearls. Like, well, I never.
Right. There's none of that. They feel so comfortable because they know.
Because they're gay.
We're safe here. This is a safe space. I can sit and have dinner with you and get really toasted, and you're not gonna grab at me. You're not gonna do a thing.
Yeah, I think it's so funny that like in this movie, it's super normal for a dude who just walks around dressed as a Native American. There's a dude who literally just walks around dressed as a cowboy, the construction worker, the cop is actually supposed to be a cop, the leather man, like the soldier, all that stuff. Like, and that's how they put the band together. They're like, well, our Native American friend can sing. Let's put him in the band. And then they just walk up to the cowboy. You should join our band. And then like it just goes on. That's how they do it. They're like, you should join our band because you are in a costume.
And they break out into song occasionally.
Yes.
And then at those times, like they'll even like smile into the camera and like do a pose at the end. It's because sometimes they want to be realistic and sometimes they don't. That's what's funny. Like I don't know what the rules are. But so they're in New York and they're fighting to get this record contract. And then they're going to San Francisco to put on a big show. And then you have your San Francisco stuff, which is great.
Yes.
But that's when we get our sequence at the YMCA, which once again, lots of dick.
Yeah, just dick.
That's all I can think of.
There's the thing with they film a milk commercial. It's like...
The milkshake. So she comes back and says, I'll model for you one more. That's her modeling agent, gets her the gig. And it's the Milk Council, which is, by the way, 10 years before those campaigns really became popular.
Yes.
Remember the milk campaigns?
Yeah, Got Milk.
Got Milk. That was like they were ahead of the curve. So she does a whole music video that's about milkshakes. It's all about milk, and all the village people are in all white costumes, and they're always surrounded by sexy women dancers.
And so funny.
It's so great. It's so hilarious. It's a lot of just those kind of show pieces. There's a whole thing. I love the section where they go to an audition and there's all those freaky people. I love a good audition scene where there's like a bunch of lunatics. Sure. And there's a guy, like, I'm convinced one of the guys was from Wasp. That's like the heavy metal.
Oh, yes.
That wanted to chew the cables. I think it's Blackie Lawless. I'm convinced. You can't tell me otherwise.
I believe you.
But so then they have a true audition process. And Bruce Jenner plays a lawyer.
Yes.
And he's going to be their lawyer, and then he gets fired or something. And they all go to they have a whole sequence where they're walking down the street in the village, and Caitlin, I'm sorry, I keep saying Bruce. Caitlin Jenner, I don't want a dead name. Caitlin is wearing this half-crop T-shirt, like a belly shirt, and these super short denim shorts.
So short.
And she's supposed to be the straight one, like really into Valerie Perrine. They have a sex scene too.
Yeah, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm going to introduce you to a lot of new things. It's the '80s or some shit like that." And I was like, "She's a supermodel." I think. Yeah.
You also have the room completely dark. I question a lot of what you're. what your
She's
technique is going to be.
She's probably like, what is this, the missionary position?
Exactly. Oh, yay, doggy style. She's just, yeah, whatever. But they get together.
They do. And they do have nice chemistry. It's just,
They do.
I think his character's kind of, he's like, I didn't know you were going to show so much of your body. And he's a little judgy, but
Yeah.
it's fine. I want to go back to the audition thing because there's this one guy that's like, he shows up and all he does is he's just like, my body, touch my body, my body, touch my body, my body. And he's just like ripping off his own clothes. That's his audition.
There's a guy that's juggling knives.
It just goes on like excessively long. My body. Touch my body.
What about Larry the Flame? So that's a guy who's in the short gold lame shorts,
Yes.
and he's just dancing on a table forever.
It's so
Larry the Flame. I mean, they're coding here like crazy.
Yes, and then here comes Leatherman, and he's like, I'm just here to get my income tax extension or whatever. And then he jumps up on a piano and sings Danny Boy, and it just fucking kills me. It's so funny.
It's all so goofy.
It's so goofy. Like, it is not to be taken remotely seriously. And if you're trying to pay attention to the story or you really want to know how they put together the Village People, this is not the movie for you.
No, it doesn't take itself seriously for sure.
No.
And then there's a big scene where they give a concert.
Yeah,
I love it because they bring all the women on stage.
Yes.
And they're all singing and there's sparkles everywhere. It's at a club in San Francisco and it's so fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Caitlyn Jenner's mother's like charity ball or something, and I was like, that's a gay nightclub. Like, that is not an event organized by a middle-aged woman. Or maybe it is, I don't know. I mean, it is San Francisco, but then they sing their like Can't Stop the Music, and they bring all the actors are up on stage and they're dancing and having a good time. It is a very silly movie, but it's super watchable. I guess I don't understand why it's on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. There's no holiday connection, but it's also like a movie that you can go in and out of. You can have it on while you're like cleaning up or getting ready for New Year's, or it's a party vibe.
You could also, like, you're sleeping off a hangover, like you're just on the couch with fried foods and
that's
Gatorade.
True.
It's like it's just happy.
Yeah.
It's a place where people aren't being marginalized. Like, it's being an individual is celebrated. Like, because there's one scene where Caitlyn like tries to be like, oh, what are you doing with these freaks? She's like, I don't judge anybody.
Yeah.
As long as you're a decent human being, like, that's all I care about. And she comes around quickly. And okay.
That's true. That's true. I do want to mention this movie is more than 2 hours long, which
it doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure the 2 hours, and I guess like Jacques Moroni, maybe he couldn't get all the rights to everything, or because the singer, by the way, who recorded the original hits with the band, he married Felicia Rashad.
That's right. That's right.
So Bill Cosby's wife on the Cosby Show, that Felicia Rashad?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
They wound up getting divorced, but he quit the Village People to do his own thing.
Yeah.
So they brought in another singer who's fine, but he's not as strong.
Right.
Like there's a vocal quality that the original singer had that makes those songs really good. And I wish they had played Macho Man or
in the Navy.
In the Navy would have been fun.
Yeah.
Because they're fun, and they're fun songs.
They're super fun songs, and it's super weird because now, like, the MAGA Trump heads here in our country like to play YMCA at their rallies, and I'm like, that song is super gay, and you guys don't like gay people, so it's very strange. It's
very odd that they picked. Yeah, it's been what's the word I'm thinking of? It's just become a party song.
Yes.
And I guess it's great that it's not just a gay song, but it is one of the songs they have that's all about I'm looking at the song list because there's one that makes it very clear that something's going to happen, like that the world is changing. I Love You to Death, YMCA, Magic Night,
Liberation.
Liberation
Yeah.
is totally making it clear, like,
Yes.
I mean, this is also a couple years after Harvey Milk stuff.
Yes. Good call out.
Yeah, this is before AIDS.
Right before.
So
yeah.
right before AIDS. So it's a very interesting time. Also, they were filming the movie Cruising.
Oh, yes.
Which is a horrible movie about police arresting a killer who kills gay men. And so Al Pacino has to go undercover as gay. And it's really salacious and
I've
not
never
a great
seen
movie.
it. I've never
It's
seen
not
it.
good.
Okay.
It's kind of gross.
All right. I won't.
But so that was being they were filming that in the Village, and the Village was like protesting all the sites where they're trying to shoot the movie, and then the next block would be the Village people.
They're like, that's not us.
Yeah,
we're doing the opposite of Cruising here. Like, we're fine, please.
We're good. But Alan Carr was a very campy, over the top person. He produced Grease, or did he direct Grease? He was part of a lot of productions in the 80s.
Yeah, I think he produced Grease and Grease 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this might be the only one he's written, or had a hand in the script. I'm going to use written loosely, but
the right. I think it was just like a bunch of index cards, put on a wall.
I think so too.
Okay, what scene is this? Okay, what are we gonna? Okay, the women are beautiful.
Yes, and the Village people are beautiful. They really
great.
are. Like, do I love that there's a man dressed as a Native American? No, not at all. But it is what it is, and what it was at the time. And it
wasn't
all
meant to be disrespectful.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like, the intention, I'm sure, was to be positive.
Yes.
And I don't know what his heritage is. I don't have his me. Where's his 23andMe test in front of me?
You didn't do your research.
I didn't do my research, but I'm telling you, that guy was keeping it tight, y'all. He was in shape. I wonder if he had to like have a no beer, no potato chips, like no carb diet.
Yes.
Because there's nothing to hide what he's wearing.
Actually, I think all of them are pretty tight, except for maybe the leather man. He's got a little like teddy bear thing going on,
which
is very, very popular, and it still is. Just saying.
Yeah.
Someone who lives here, I see it all the time. What's your favorite musical number?
It's got to be YMCA.
Yeah, I mean it's super fun.
I love her in her red shirt, Macho Woman or whatever.
Yes, Macho Lady,
whatever it is, and she's just like I'll do a clip if I watch it again. I'll do a little clip of it. It's just her on the massage table, just bouncing her head side to side.
It's so cute. And then they're all in a hot tub together, and she's naked in the hot tub with all of them. It's like, again, because she knows she's safe.
Yeah, exactly. She's totally safe. Like with them, the camera crew, who knows? But with them, she's
right.
But I wonder, like, what Nancy Walker was like as a director.
Yeah,
like what it was like to take direction from her, because supposedly she and Valerie Perrine didn't get along. So I wonder what that was about.
Yeah, good call out. I also read that they didn't get along, but they don't say why. So I couldn't find that out. I love the YMCA musical number. I also really like I Love You to Death. I think even though it's not all the Village people, it's just the construction worker, I believe.
David Hodo.
Yeah. It's very entertaining. It's like super 80s. That one's super fun. The milkshake one is also super fun. Just they're all in white and they look amazing, and she looks amazing too. Like, she looks so beautiful, and that one's super fun. But yeah, the YMCA that song's massive for a reason. It's fucking catchy, and how you can't really screw it up. Also, there's dicks all over, and that's fun.
It's all these men doing sports like gymnastics and the ring, and they're really tough stuff, like climbing the rope and all that shit. I'm like, they're really in great shape.
I can't do that.
No, they're in
Mm.
really good shape. But I love to picture Caitlin like running the steeplechase with them and like
Yeah.
having no idea all the coding that's happening around her. Like just sort of like just me and some dudes, all fellow athletes, just hanging out.
Just hanging out. Just doing dude stuff. You know, dude stuff.
Doing stuff. But
There's-
yeah, I miss those shorts.
What were those shorts? They had a name. Like, well, I remember there was a brand. There was like Dolphin or Dove. I forget. Maybe Dolphin shorts. You're right. They are dolphin shorts. It's all.
Yeah.
It's all coming back to me
To me
now.
now. Those were running shorts. And my sister's a runner. And the problem is that you get thigh chafing. Because
Yeah.
you get the chafing from the fabric. So you kind of need something that's really light.
Yes.
But then when it's really light, your ass shows. And
Yeah.
yeah, and also that's just your package. I mean, I don't know like what kind of underwear they wore.
None.
Oy.
None. Between the shorts in this one and the shorts in the movie Perfect. I don't know what to think about 80s sportswear.
Oh my God. And the tube socks, like lots of white tube socks.
Yes.
You know, those things stunk.
Oh my God. They smell so bad.
Ugh.
I used to be a member of the YMCA.
Me too.
Nobody ever sang. I was disappointed.
No, they don't.
That's
They're
lame.
probably sick of it.
Oh, I shouldn't have said lame. That's bananas. That's why I pay my money. I show up. I expect people to be singing YMCA. So I had to cancel my membership. I was just too disappointed. What else should we say about this one? There's a lot of good lines. Like I said, snowballs and ding dongs, the San Francisco ex-husband, bad sex, you know, just every once in a while, like a good line shows up. I'm like,
There's also a scene where Caitlin is being robbed by a little old lady in the moped.
so I guess that's to establish that the character Ron is
A rube.
Yeah, that he's such a rube that he could literally get robbed by an old lady.
In daylight, like right in the middle of the street. Like
Yes.
anything. Yeah. 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 Until he hangs out with the village people and then they don't rob him anymore.
He's safe.
I guess.
When it comes to eating, all mothers are Jewish. That's another random line.
I kind of love that scene on the airplane.
Because you know what it is again, because the middle-aged women in this movie are smart and fun.
Yes.
They're not judgy, and that scene is another one where she's the one who gets the contract, like
Right.
because she is smart. I like it. Actually, all the women in this movie,
Yeah. They're
Are
all
s-
smart and funny.
yes,
And that could be Nancy Walker's contribution.
it could be. I like to think it is.
Yeah.
Let's pretend it is. I read that they originally wanted Olivia Newton-John for the role of Samantha.
But then she'd have to sing.
Yeah. They probably that would have changed the whole movie. But she said no to do Xanadu, which is probably the
A
right choice.
That's a choice.
It's the choice. I mean, if those are your two choices, I guess you go with Xanadu. Like
The music's better.
the music's better. You get to dance with Gene Kelly. I mean, that's pretty
Right.
rad.
Yeah.
I would make any movie with Gene Kelly back in the day. Even when he was in his 60s, I don't give a fuck. I would have done anything.
Roller skating. He was fucking roller skating in his 60s.
Oh my God. Okay. We did a whole episode on Xanadu, but like
Yeah.
Margot and I could not get over that the dude was like 64 or 66. I forget. And he was roller skating. And I was like, he could have broke his hip and it'd be fucking over for Gene Kelly. And he's out there dancing, roller skating. Gene Kelly was the shit.
He was the shit.
Like, so fucking handsome. I love him.
He's great. Not great to Debbie Reynolds in their movie together, but that's okay.
No.
No, he's shitty. He had his shitty moments. But anyway,
Yes.
I do like the milkshake scene.
Yes.
I think this movie is funny in parts. Like, I think it's ridiculous. It's got over the top jokes and stuff, but I think especially the women are really smart. They're clever. They're funny. I think Caitlin's fine.
Yeah.
In her first, but I really love Valerie Perrine.
Yes.
I think she has like fashion goals.
Yes.
And she looks so beautiful.
Well, and her character's so fun and so open to everybody, and she's very sweet to everybody. She's very curious about people, like asking. That's one of my favorite things about characters. Characters who are open and curious about the world are my favorite, and that's what she's doing in this movie. And again, like, it feels a little too long, and I wish the songs were a little better, but there's also stuff in here that's really fun.
Yeah, I think it's sweet. I can kind of see, like, on New Year's Day, what else you just putting it on, it'll put you in a good mood for the year.
Yeah. I'm like, I bought it. I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, it's a confection.
Yes. So that's our thoughts on Can't Stop the Music. Do you want to hear about the other movies that came out in the summer of 1980?
Yes, please.
This movie came out in June, and because it is a summer blockbuster. And here's some of the other movies that came out that summer. Urban Cowboy.
Good movie.
Yeah, problematic, but good, I suspect. It has not aged well in some spots. The Blues Brothers.
Great movie.
Love the Blues Brothers. Herbie Goes Bananas.
I don't know that one.
I've seen the first Herbie movie a few times. Calvin and I watched it together. There's some cute stuff in that, but then there's a weird thing where Herbie tries to throw himself off the bridge because he's depressed.
Yes. Okay.
It's like,
I'm
what
remembering
the fuck?
that now.
The car's trying to kill itself. I'm like, that's weird. Weird. But anyway, Herbie Goes Bananas is a thing that exists. Airplane.
Yeah, I like Airplane.
Yeah.
Also, lots of jokes you probably couldn't do now. But...
For sure. For sure you couldn't do. The Tower. Rapunzel. He's the best character.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
I have now. I watched You Can't Stop the Music.
Am I right?
The Blue Lagoon.
Oh yeah, that's a movie we need to do.
That's a movie that exists. Katrina Longworth did a whole episode about the erotic 80s, and she talked about Blue Lagoon. It was fascinating. I didn't know a lot of that. Oh Heavenly Dog.
Not very good.
No, for people who don't know, there was a time when dogs used to star in movies, and one of them was Benji. Benji's very cute, and made a movie with Chevy Chase, and it's not good. This movie's really good, and I won't hear any different. Prom Night.
It's great.
I legit love Prom Night, and it stars Jamie Lee Curtis and I believe Leslie Nielsen in a dramatic role. I love Prom Night. Caddyshack.
Caddyshack's great. I do like Caddyshack. So what? So let's dance.
I love your Rodney Dangerfield impression. It's so good. Xanadu also came out in 1980. Fucking love Xanadu. Love the soundtrack so much. And then the last one is Smokey and the Bandit 2.
I probably loved it.
I probably loved it too. Calvin and I have watched Smokey and the Bandit, the first one, more times than I would like to admit. He has a Smokey and the Bandit shirt that he likes to wear. So we are big Smokey and the Bandit fans here. I haven't even shown him the second one. I mentioned it to him and he was like, no thanks. Basically, like, why would I mess with a classic? Like,
he's not wrong.
Yeah. And I was like, I get it.
Valerie Perrine is also in the Cannonball Run movie.
What? Oh my God. Is she one of the hot girls?
Yeah, I think so.
Holy shit. We need to do the Cannonball Run movies.
Oh, Captain Chaos!
It's got Jackie Chan in it. It's got is that the one? Yeah, it's got Dean Martin
And Sammy Davis Jr.
That
as
movie
priests.
is another one where I was like, I guarantee you Cannonball Run has not aged well. But
Right.
like, we need to watch Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the top 10 songs for the week this came out in 1980?
Yes, I do.
It's like June 19th,
Yeah.
1980. Okay. Number 10, Michael Jackson, She's Out of My Life.
I loved that album.
I love it's Off the Wall. That's a great album. And he supposedly wrote that for Tatum O'Neal, but she's like, nah.
Good choice,
So-
Tatum.
I love this song so fucking much. Gary Newman, Cars.
Such a good song.
Good song.
All of these songs are probably going to be dope.
I can't speak. I'm so happy. Robbie Dupree, Steal Away. Great song.
That's a good roller skating song. Love it.
I think they opened Marge, the Vista Del Mar. Is it that one? No, that was something else they opened with.
Oh no,
Anyway.
you're thinking so Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar,
Vista Del Mar,
and it was Guilty by Barbara Streisand.
which is a great song
So
too.
good.
Okay. So number 8, Little Genie by Elton John.
Love it.
Love it. Billy Joel, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Love it.
My mother fucking loved that song. And this is my dad. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Against the Wind.
I really love Bob Seger. I have such a soft spot for Bob Seger.
Yeah.
Especially I love Night Moves. I love Night Moves.
He has a great voice.
He does.
Bette Midler, The Rose.
Yeah, you couldn't get away from that song.
Oof. Mom, are you there?
Such
We need to do that movie.
yes.
Ambrosia, Biggest Part of Me. AC
You're
Music,
the biggest part of me. That's yacht rock right there.
Yeah, I love this. Wings, Paul McCartney and Wings coming up.
I love Paul McCartney and Wings. Oh my god,
And
these are all so good.
This is Casablanca Records here. Here we go. Lip Sync, Funky Town.
Shit.
That song is fucking dope.
You can't get that. That one is one of those ones that's in your brain forever.
It always works. It always works. Anybody can dance to it.
Yeah. I always I use the name Funky Town at my old job where I worked at a printing company and we had to test out like the design tools and make business cards and stuff like that. And I would always put my number as 8675309 and that I lived on Electric Avenue in Funky Town. Every time people are like, what the they're like, some people didn't get it because they're super young, and the people who did get it are like, bitch, get a new joke. And I was like, I'll never get a new joke. I'm gonna do it every time. My friend, what else are you dorking out about?
White Lotus.
Yes.
I'm to the point now where I'm on my third watch for each episode.
Oh my god, damn.
There is something about this show. Like the first I waited until it was over. Because the last time I watched it in real time, and it gave me such agita because I really wanted to just know what was going to happen. It's the classic slow burn.
It really is.
Because the first episode, you're kind of like, nothing's really happening, and it's kind of slow. And then it just builds up and it builds up to the point that we have Jennifer Coolidge. Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers.
We're gonna have to say spoilers at this point. I loved it when people mixed up Jennifer Coolidge with Heather Gay from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And like she opens the door and then she falls off the boat and dies.
So I am like, I have mixed feelings about that because part of me is like, I don't want that because I would love for Jennifer Coolidge's character to be the through line for the seasons. Like then she goes to the White Lotus in India or wherever's next. But also that death is so Tanya. Like,
yeah,
for her to be so badass, she turns, it's like a fucking, like she's an assassin there at the end. Like,
yeah,
you're like, holy shit. And then for her to just be like, whoops.
She just had to carefully get into that dinghy. It could have gotten the hell out of there.
Bitch, take the stairs. Like, you could have taken the stairs. And she's like, nah, I'm
gonna try to jump.
Whoop.
But I was totally like, by the end of that, I mean, also the Aubrey Plaza stuff. I was not into at first, and then I really was like, do you think she hooks up with that other guy?
I think she's telling the truth. I think that they like kissed a little and nothing happened. I
wonder, because I was
that's the thing. Like, you know, we don't really know. I don't think her husband cheated at first.
No.
I think he's telling the truth. I think it ate away at her to the point where she took the other wife's advice and did whatever she needed to do to be right with it. And I think she kind of made out with the dude, but I don't think they fucked. And he doesn't believe her, and I think he did fuck the other dude's wife.
Wow.
That's what I think happened. Like, and that the actress Megan, I think her name is Megan Fahey.
So good.
She is someone who I was like, who the fuck is that? Like, I don't know who she is. And by the end, I was like, that character is a criminal mastermind. And I was so impressed with the slow reveal of that character, who seems like a real ding dong. She's like, why? What's wrong with the world? Like, is there bad news in the world? La, la, la. To like realize that she knows that her husband does shitty things and that she does the things to make herself be okay with it. And then the whole thing where she reveals like that she has an affair with her trainer and that first kid.
And that the trainer's kid might be hers.
Yeah.
Yes. And she's so, there's a scene where like the husband said, like the Aubrey Plaza's husband tries to talk to her to kind of explain what's going on. And she kind of has this look on her face like, okay, how do I deal with this? Because I know he's shitty.
Yes.
But I don't want him to know that I know and that I put up with this. And she just kind of says, well, we just sort of do what we need to do. And she just, it's just her face. It's just kind of her reaction. And I'm like, she's such a good actress.
She's so good.
I'm beautiful and looks great. Like at first you're right. You think she's like a typical, we would say like a typical American ding dong traveling to a resort, someplace. Oh, the food's good. And then you find out like, oh, she's way more complicated and smart and devious.
Yes.
And I'm into it.
Me too.
And I like all the stuff with Michael Imperioli and that the one of the sex workers got $50K.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern plays his ex-wife. I was just gonna say, Laura Dern plays his wife that screams at him on the phone.
Okay. Yes, I heard this too because she is good friends with Mike White, who's the writer creator of White Lotus. They did Enlightenment together, which actually, I've seen the first season and still haven't watched the second season, and I really should watch the second season because the first season is real good. It's real good, and she's so good in it. I heard a rumor that season 3 is going to be the Connie Britton character from season 1, and Laura Dern might join season 3.
Ooh.
And I think they might be sisters.
I'm into it.
And I'm like, if that's true, I'll do it and bring back Megan Fahey. I'm like, could she be one of the sisters?
So good. She was so good. The two girls that are sex workers.
Yes.
I mean, that's sort of they've got so much more going on than that. Like they're always scheming, and one of them just wants to be the piano player, and all that. I mean, their stuff is interesting.
All that stuff is so good, and I was genuinely worried after season 1, which was somebody dies, you don't know who it is, and then it turns out to be Armand, who actually works at the hotel. And like, by the way, Armand was like everybody's favorite character, and it was like, but it was also like the rich people just emerge unscathed, right? Like there's and the working class people are the ones that get hurt. This one, I was very worried that it was going to be one of the girls, the young girls, maybe the sex workers, maybe Portia, who was Jennifer Coolidge's assistant.
Oh, that poor thing.
Yeah, because she's just making poor choice after poor choice, which is, by the way, totally what you do when you're like 22 years old. Like, I get it. But I was very worried for all of them. So in a way, I was relieved that it was Jennifer Coolidge's character. because it went in a different direction than I expected, and I like it when that happens. So that was good, and I really loved Aubrey Plaza in this.
Yeah.
Like, I love Aubrey Plaza in general. I think we've talked again before about actresses who are special. Like, they bring a certain something to parts. I think Jennifer Coolidge is special. Like, she brings something to a part that only she can bring. I think Aubrey Plaza is like that. Like, and if you see like her red carpet interviews, they're just like chef's kiss. She's so fucking funny. But like the scene, and maybe this is because it's gonna click for me, there's the scene where she finds a condom wrapper in the couch, and she starts realizing that her husband is lying to her, and she thinks that he cheated on her, and like that gut punch, and that like it just makes you feel fucking sick. And like she did a really good job of like running through those emotions. Like she's really, really good in this. They all are. They all are. You could nominate this whole cast and I would be like, God, yeah, of course.
I'm in. I got to the point where I had to go back and rewatch episodes because I wanted to see what and also the sequence at the top of the show that has all the illustrations for the characters and what it's so well done. It deserves all the praise that it gets. And trust me, if you think it's kind of a slow burn, once again, like the first episode, you're like, what? Really?
Yeah.
It really pays off. And to the point where you're sitting on the edge of your seat, like that whole last hour of the show.
Yes.
The first time I saw it, I was in such anxiety.
Yeah.
Because somebody's dead. That's how they open it.
Yeah.
And what about the woman who runs the hotel?
Oh, I loved her too.
Loved her.
She was so good. She is so good. Everyone is Sabrina Impectatori.
She has my birthday. We're birthday twins.
Oh, she's really great. F. Murray Abraham is the old man, like the whole like 3 generations of like basically like with different views of women and their relationships with women, and then at the end it's like they're all basically the same. They're the same. It's just
they go through their own thing. Yeah.
It's at varying degrees, I guess. And so like all of that is so interesting, and this is one of those shows that you can watch it on a surface level and be entertained, and if you want to dig deeper you can and enjoy it on that level too. And those shows are special, like when you can find those like you're like watching the opening credits to see
the little Easter eggs.
Yes. Like it rewards multiple viewings, it rewards like digging deeper, it rewards like if you wanted to go online and read about like the songs they're listening to, the art they're viewing, the statues that are behind them in certain scenes, they're all parts of the story. And I was like, that's awesome. But
that's smart.
Yeah. And if you don't want to do that, you're still going to really like the show because it's really good.
It's really, it's exceptional. I thought that was just really awesome. And along that same level of quality, I want to bring in Below Deck this season, which I love my Below Deck.
Yes, you do.
It's regular flavor. It's with Captain Lee, and poor Captain Lee, Sonia, he has a nerve issue, and the poor man can't feel the left side of his body. He could barely get around on crutches. I have such empathy like with him because he's such a nice guy, and he has like a really good crew. And then there's a girl named Camille who's this blonde from Alabama and is the laziest fucking thing ever. And it's great to hate her. And so he calls and says, I have to give up the boat for a bit. I got to go back to the States and get better. And so who shows up but Captain Sandy from Below Deck Med. And it's really fun to see them cross paths. And then there's a show called Galley Talk that they had forever that was through the pandemic. And they dropped it because Bravo's really stupid sometimes. But they're bringing it back. And it's what it is. It's former cast members from all the seasons, Australia and everything. And they're basically like making fun of the show. Like they're talking about the episodes and what who's fucking up or who's doing well and that kind of thing. And they're really funny people. Kate Chastain is just chef's kiss. Her and Chef Ben are like best friends, and they watch it together, and they're hilarious. It's just really good. So that's coming back in January.
All right.
I want to talk about a podcast, Queens Boulevard. It's 3 African American women who are comedians, and they talk about race and gender and comedy. And one of them is Alice Hamilton. One of our
We love her.
faves.
We love her.
Love her. Chelsea Grow and Beatty Greger. Beery Greger. Sorry,
Okay.
I can't read my handwriting. Anyway, it's Queens Boulevard. They've had just a few episodes come out. They're hilarious. Like I said, they talk about pop culture and a lot about, about race and privilege and, good dudes versus shitty dudes. And
Mm-hmm.
they're not afraid to call it the shitty dudes, which I always super enjoy.
Yes, me too.
And All Killa No Filla is back.
Yes.
And they're doing a whole set of shows about Charles Manson.
That's going to be so good.
It's going to be so good. I know so much about Manson. I could do an episode just off the top of my head, but that kind of creeps me out.
Yeah.
He's on our list for what a creep, but he's kind of like with Donald Trump, like he's sort of in the back area. Like, I'll get to it.
Yeah. That's an undertaking. Like,
yeah, it's emotional. It's because he's a real fucking asshole. And there's just a lot that's going on in the 60s at the time. So anyway, that's what I'm dorking out about.
That's a good list.
Oh, and I'm going on vacation.
Yay!
Maybe.
Yeah, if the ice storm Margot's trapped in.
Yes, if I could get out, I'm going to Provincetown, which I haven't been in like 30 years. And I'm so freaking excited. I'm taking the train. I'm going to take a little puddle jumper from Boston to Cape Cod. I'm just excited.
That is fun.
Yeah.
A well-deserved vacation, my friend.
Thank you. Yep, I sold enough books at home so I could
Nice.
afford it. Yes.
Before we, I've got a hefty list here myself.
Go for it.
I saw A Christmas Story Christmas on HBO Max, which is the sequel to A Christmas Story. It's fine. There are things that I was pleasantly surprised by, which is they brought back a lot of the original cast to for
Scott
those
Farkus?
Yes, Scott Farkus shows up. Flick shows up. The guy who plays Schwartz shows up. Randy, the original Ralphie, is playing himself, which is great. Julie Haggerty is playing the mother now, which I do love Julie Haggerty. She does a good job. Mm-hmm. It's set in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And there's some stuff in it where I was like, oh, that's good, or that's cute. Also, like, I wanted it to be funnier, I guess, and it just didn't have as many jokes as I wanted, but I do think it's very sweet. I think it's very respectful of the original. The actor who played the dad in Christmas Story, Darren McGavin, passed away. And so, it's not a spoiler. Like, it's in the trailer, like he passes away in the movie. And so he like goes back home for Christmas, and he's trying to like live up to his dad's version of Christmas. And the dad character and the mom character, played by Melinda Dillon in the original, are the characters that turned into my favorites as I got older, because I think they're so funny in that movie. When I was a kid, it's all about Ralphie, right? And then you grow up and you're like, oh my God, the parents are so funny. And I think it's very respectful of the original movie, which I like. It's fine. Like, I won't watch it over and over like you do A Christmas Story. And I know there's like a Christmas Story backlash. Have you seen that on Twitter where younger people,
because of the racism?
Yeah, then that's a deal breaker for a lot. I get it.
Yeah.
Also just like younger people haven't, back in the day, y'all, we had like 5 channels of television, and one of them played A Christmas Story for 24 hours. So you will have to forgive the older
was-
folks who,
It was more than that. It was on HBO for like a year.
yeah,
Like they played it all the fucking
It's
time before even
ingrained.
TBS did it. Yeah. So for us, yeah, that was like what we had. I mean, is it wrong? Yeah, there's lots of things wrong with all the stuff we like.
yeah, very true.
Yeah.
But I don't think the movie was coming from a hateful place.
No.
Yeah, and this one, like I said, is very sweet. It has funny stuff. It was just okay. That's all. I guess I wanted a little bit more. But I was happy to see all the original people back. I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
A really good movie is I watched The Banshees of Inisherin. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. And it is with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson and Carrie Condon. And it's written and directed by Martin McDowell, I think is how you pronounce it. And he did that terrible Three Billboards movie that Margot and I, by the way, hated.
And
Like,
we got so many shitty takes on that movie.
yeah, well, I guess you
great it
just
was.
didn't understand it. It's like, no,
Right.
we understand it, asshole. We just don't like it. It's okay, like that we don't like. By the way, the performances in it are good. It's just we don't like the movie. The story is shitty. Banshees of Inisherin is really, really good. I love Colin Farrell. I think he's really great I think they're both really great in this. It made me want to watch In Bruges, which actually I haven't seen and I know people super love. And
That's
it's like
a good movie.
It's like blasphemous that I haven't seen it. I've been to Bruges, by the way. Love Bruges. It's amazing. So I need to watch it. But this is really good. It's about like two old friends. I'm going to look up what year it's set. 1923. There you go. And they're on an island in Ireland. And Brendan Gleeson's character decides he doesn't want to be friends anymore with Colin Farrell. He just decides, like, I think you're boring. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And the repercussions of that when you live on a very small island where everyone's in each other's business. So there's like definite dark comedy. And there's some things in the movie that are pretty fucked up. But I think it's really good. And it's streaming on HBO Max right now. So I highly recommend. I suspect Colin Farrell's going to be nominated for some stuff. Just saying.
Okay. I told you my friend Salma worked with him this year.
Yes.
On a project. She's an actress based in LA. She was on The Flight Attendant season 2.
Yes.
And she worked with Colin and she said he was really gorgeous.
Yes.
And very sweet to everybody.
That makes me so
Everyone.
happy because Colin Farrell, first of all, very handsome, obviously, and like went through some shit. Like he became a huge star. It clearly like kind of took over his life. He had a lot of problems. He worked it out. He seems like he's on the other side. He makes very interesting choices. You know, I didn't like the Batman. He's in that as like the Penguin or whatever. And I was like, why would you hire Colin Farrell and then just fucking cover him?
And then ugg him up.
Yeah. I'm like, ew, no, just no. I'm over that. But he's very good in this. I also am late to the party, but I watched all of Wednesday. And
isn't it great?
it's so fun. I
loved it.
I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. I do think that I love Louis Guzman. I love him. I think he's miscast as Gomez. Like, but whatever. That's a small complaint. Actually, my complaint about Wednesday is I don't like that she was fighting with her parents because the thing with the Addams family was they super love each other, and having her like fight with her mom and she's like, I have to get out from under my mom's shadow, like all that stuff. I didn't really like that stuff. But it's basically Harry Potter, right? She's going to like a school for like outcasts or whatever. Jenny Ortega as Wednesday is so good.
Oh my God.
So good.
So funny.
Like,
so deadpan.
Yes. Like she's really great. I think the show is really, really good and watchable. I loved her. I loved her roommate as played by an actress named Emma Myers. She's playing Enid, and like she's like the opposite of Wednesday, right? She's just like really sunny and happy and like colorful. I'm basically Enid, is what I'm saying.
And I'm Wednesday. So that's why we get along.
That's why we get along. We get it.
My all black wardrobe.
Oh my God. I didn't even
Right?
put this together. You're right. You're Wednesday and I'm Enid. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. But we still love each other.
Yes, of course.
It's really, really good. And like, I think all the young actors are really good in it. It's set up for a second season that I would totally watch. I was really excited to see Christina Ricci in there. I thought that was a really nice touch. Gwendolyn Christie is someone who I think is really great in Game of Thrones, is playing the like woman who runs the school. It's really good. What can I say?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, as Morticia, she's really great, and she's beautiful, obviously.
Right.
And I love Louis Guzman. He's just wrong for the part.
He's
all.
no
Like,
Raul Julia. Raul Julia really.
Raul Julia should have
nailed
won.
it.
He should have won every fucking award for that.
Yeah.
Because he's just pure joy
Yeah.
in that movie. He really is. I really like the Addams Family movies. I was hesitant to watch this one, but everyone insisted that I would like it, and they were right. I really, really liked it. I watched it in like 2 days. It was really terrific.
Yeah.
I also, because everyone had been recommending it to me, finally started Heron and Megan. The document.
Harry.
Oh, what did I say?
Heron.
Weird. Sorry.
Heron and Megan.
H&M. Harry and Meghan on Netflix.
She calls him H.
She calls him
I
H.
love she calls him H.
I do too. And her mother calls him H. It's so cute. I really like it. I think I have like 2 more episodes left. There's a lot. I thought it was going to be just, and this is how we met. And like, so I just kind of put it off, and I should have known that it was going to be more than that, because they're just not those kinds of people. Like they want to use their platform for good. So I feel like they're telling a different story. I didn't know it was going to be what it is, and I'm glad that they're doing it, because I honestly didn't know a lot of this stuff about how much of the media and the royal family, like how much of that is a like...
It's an extension of the royal family.
Yes.
They're in cahoots.
Yes.
To keep each other in business.
Yes. I guess I didn't realize how closely that was tied until now. And it's because I'm not like really obsessed with the royals. Like I know who they are, and like I have like a knowledge of them, but I'm not like really, really into it. So I think that they're really in love. And I think that...
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think like, not only do I think they're in love, I think they fuck. Like,
oh yeah, they seriously fuck. Yeah.
These people fuck. Like they don't just make love.
Yeah.
Or have a little whoopee time, or they don't, because like his brother and his,
no, they don't.
The other one,
they don't. Fuck.
Those two schedule their nookie time. I think these people, I think like they're like Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman. They have a little fuck hut.
Yeah.
And they got it. Yeah. I love it. I just feel their attraction for what Max too. He's
Max
like,
is all
Yeah.
He's all rare. Yeah, they absolutely fuck, and I think they're really in love. Look, somebody was gonna tell this story. I'm glad that they decided to tell it themselves, and I like how open they're being. Mm-hmm. He is definitely his mother's son, like, and I was just super impressed with like how open they both are, especially him, like where he talks about the difference between like royal Harry and like husband Harry, and like
and he scolds himself for not being there for her when they first got married and not understanding her point of view.
Yeah.
And it can be open to that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Admit that you failed it. Not even failed, but like, you missed the mark and you could do better.
Yes.
To admit that.
Again, y'all.
Low bar that we set for men. It's just like,
and I'm just saying, this is a bar that we should set for all people. It's okay to admit when you've made a mistake. It's okay to admit that you didn't know and you want to learn more, and like doing that,
And not
that's
be defensive
fucking
about it.
life. Like these people is like,
Yeah.
they're flip-floppers. No, they fucking grew up and they learned something, and that's what he's admitting here. I'm super impressed with it. I really, really like it. My sister said I would love her podcast, so I'm putting that on my list too as something for me to listen to. I have 2 more episodes, and all the people who hate her, I guess I don't understand why they hate her. And I don't understand people who refuse to understand why he would leave. I'm like, they have a child together. They have 2 kids, right? I'm like,
yes.
Why would
and they were being hounded. His mother was killed when he was 12 years old.
Yes.
Being hounded by the press. You think he may have an issue with it?
You think? And for him to grow up in something that he's like, it's shitty. It sucks to grow up this way. And maybe he doesn't want that for his kids and makes a different choice. And then people shit on him for it. Fuck off. Y'all can't see me. I'm making a fucking jerk off motion. Fuck off. I'm like, that's ridiculous. So it's really good. It's on Netflix. I also saw that the new Knives Out is out today on Netflix. So I will be watching that.
Oh my God. Putting that down, watching it tonight.
Yeah, I'm watching it tonight. That's my big plan.
Me too. It's got great reviews.
I can't wait. I love the first one very much. We did an episode on it. You can go back and listen. I really love Daniel Craig. It's got Edward Norton in it. One of my crushes. I'm in on that one. And then do we want to talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
It's batshit. I watched it again last night. I, for the life of me, cannot understand. They have footage of Heather Gay going to the door for 4:45 in the morning or something. Yeah. There's footage of that. Like they have that night vision goggles thing kind of looking. But nobody's saying what happened to her. She's got a black eye and scratches. Yes. And the first person she calls is Jen Shaw, who's going to go to jail soon. She's going to be sent to prison. She's going to be sentenced next month. It's the first person she calls, and they put ice on it, and she's like, we got to come up with a story. And then she starts calling the others, and then she's like, I don't want to talk about this. I love it that she's like, I didn't want to talk about it, so she partnered up with Lisa Barlow to do that car thing. She says, because I know she wouldn't ask me one question about me. Yes, and she's right. Lisa Barlow talking about her dresses. It was so fucking funny. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know where it's going. I don't know I have that. What's happening when I watch it?
Want to know, who do you think punched her in the eye? Do you think
Jen Shaw?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I know you
It wasn't Whitney.
Yeah, I know you tweeted out that you think it's a Gone Girl situation.
I know. I couldn't help with that. Like Gone Girl, like she popped her own eye out with a hammer, ball peen hammer. But I was like, no, I honestly think it's Jen Shaw. And it could have been just like they had a tussle. Yeah. And then she hit her eye. That could totally be it. But I think those scratches are Jen Shaw.
Yeah, I think so too. My friend Kate has a very interesting theory. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
She thinks they did it. She thinks they were fucking, basically.
Oh, so that was rough sex?
Maybe. That's what Kate said.
Maybe they had cocaine. Maybe they had that cocaine that was they were giving around on the set of Can't Stop the Music.
I'm like, maybe.
They just went wild.
Kate's like, Kate texted me, and I was like, it's not it's not an implausible theory. Like, they were all dry humping each other, and I was like, it could have. They were really
talking about titties.
Yeah, I was like, it could have gotten real nasty. She talked about how she had scratches on her back.
Oh, that's true.
Could be, but it could also be that they had an argument. Jen popped her one, but they worked it out. Quote unquote worked it out, and she doesn't want to say that Jen did that because of her court date, maybe.
Or she also doesn't want to look like the fool because she's been so consistently like on her side.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because all of them, any human being would be curious, because also if there's somebody punching people out, you need to know about it to make sure you're safe.
Right.
The only one not speaking is Jen Shaw. She's just so mute while
Yes.
they're all like,
Yeah,
I'm like, guilty.
Why is she so quiet about what happened? I think we talked about this in our bonus episode too, where I was like, there's a woman sitting at their table with a black eye, and she got it from someone else at that table, and they're all talking about SEC financial filings. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You want to talk about taxes right now when there's a woman sitting at the table with a black eye?
Possibly from someone else that's sitting at your table.
And they're like, did you crowdsource $25,000 from your business? I was like, she's got a black eye. And this is why I'll never be a housewife.
No, exactly. I'd be terrible because I'd be out there. I'd be out.
They would not invite me back. I wouldn't even be a good friend of. Like, no.
No, like a thirsty Angie and her elf and a shelf husband.
No.
She gets some good lines in there. She's mean, but Jen Shaw gets some good lines in there sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Jen is going to jail and she's not going to be on the show anymore. And she frustrates me because she just deflects and she accuses, like the minute you point, you're like, hey, you treat me shitty. What about how you treat me? Like, you know, and it's like, girl, grow up, get some fucking therapy. But she is funny.
How long do you think after she goes to jail that Coach Shaw dumps her ass and it gets a fine woman?
That's a good.
Because he's handsome. And he has a decent job.
He seems like a good man. Yeah. He's clearly got the patience of a saint.
He does. You know, he's got a cool job. He seems honest. I mean, he's married to her.
Yeah.
He could have been fooled by her. I mean,
we've all been fooled.
You know what? You ask her something she doesn't want to talk about. She's rather, vocal about it. So maybe he's like to a point like, I can't bring up her business. I don't get it.
Yeah.
She'll file, that's it.
I don't know. He seems very loyal. To her. Yeah,
but I think when he's not having to deal with her 24/7.
Good point.
I think he's going to be at some point like, you know what? The adrenaline rush from being around her is going to kill me. Like I need.
Yeah.
And he'll find somebody in Salt Lake City.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And it depends on how long she gets too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's my prediction.
I like predictions.
Mm-hmm.
This was really fun. This is one of our long episodes too, man.
So if you still like the sound of our voices at this point, we co-host a show called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps from the past to the present. The most current episode, we talk about comedian Chris D'Elia, who's a creep. We then talk about Valerie Perrine and the she's not a creep, and the GoFundMe page, and then we go right into. I listened to it again, and it was really good. It's all about Charles Dickens, Dickens, total asshole. So, he was a dick. So, if you're looking for that content, that's where you can find us. And please, if nothing else, just help retweet or repost our social media about Valerie Perrine and her GoFundMe. That would be amazing.
Please, everybody, let's help this woman out. She deserves some help. She deserves some grace.
Yes.
My friend, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Brooklyn Fit Chick for Twitter and Instagram. My site is brooklynfitchick.com, and my TikTok name is my name, Margot Donahue.
And her book, Filmed in Brooklyn, is everywhere you buy your books. Get it.
It is.
It's real good. It's so good. I bought an extra copy for my mother.
Aw, thank you.
Of course. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. You can find Dorky Now Show at dorkynowshow.com. If you like the show, give us a review on wherever you listen to your podcast. That would be awesome. It helps us find our people. And you can email us with requests at dorkynowshow@gmail.com. We take requests. This was one.
Yes, it was.
We're going to do Ruthless People. Okay.
Yes. Next week, I think.
Yes, it's going to happen. I promise. We won't bump it down the list again. We are going to do Ruthless People. But this was really fun. I'm glad we finally did Can't Stop the Music. It feels like a perfect way to end this year and start the new one.
I'm feeling so inspired. I'm going to put on like a spangly outfit and just talk about milkshakes.
I'm going to head down to the YMCA. YMCA.